Not exactly what you want to see when you're starting a weekend. A whole lot of cloud cover hanging in over much of the Commonwealth, but I tell you what, it's still an improvement on yesterday, right? We had that round or multiple rounds of rain, that big wave of low pressure that tracked through. Now we're on the back end of it. And there are some encouraging signs. Visible satellite imagery shows the cloud cover that's still fairly thick across much of the viewing area, but the sun's out in Owensboro and Paducah, and they're reporting fair conditions out west, and we have some breaks in the clouds occasionally showing up. So I do think we will see some hints of sunshine as we get into the afternoon. That cloud deck continues to erode. It's in the mid-50s in Pikeville. You have the other end of the state. It's in the mid-60s out in Paducah, and it's 68 farther north and west where that sun's been out. So, yeah, warmer out west. Generally in the mid-upper 50s right now, and we're not going to warm up a whole lot heading into the weekend. I think we'll get into the probably mid-60s for a lot of folks. 24-hour rainfall total showing anywhere from about a half an inch to an inch of rain. Now, this is just over the last 24 hours. The totals earlier this morning that took into account beyond that, it was over an inch, 1.2 inches in Frankfurt. So, yeah, we got soaked in spots. That's all that's left. The Max Track shows some sprinkles, some spotty showers still hanging into our far eastern counties associated with that cloud cover that's out there. And they had a round of severe storms just go tearing through Florida this morning. That has since simmered down a bit. And off to the west, that's where the severe focus is for today. There's an enhanced, a slight risk for severe storms. Texas, Arkansas, northwestern parts of Louisiana there. And then tomorrow, the threat shifts east, but it's not much of a threat. From the mid-Atlantic going down through the Carolinas, North Georgia, up through the Smokies, and even into our far southeastern counties, we've got this marginal risk because we've got another wave of low pressure, hot on the heels of the one that just went through. There it goes. Clouds slowly break, so fingers crossed for some sunshine. The least likely to see it far eastern Kentucky today, but it doesn't last very long. And then here comes another wave of low pressure, pretty much running the river, and yeah, guess what? More rain. Showers, thunder showers. As that boundary pushes in, by tomorrow afternoon and evening, that's where we see, especially down toward our Tennessee border, where we could see a few strong to severe storms, damaging wind, torrential rain for a lot of folks. And that low just continues to slowly spin. So even by Sunday morning into Sunday, we'll still have some wraparound showers, hopefully decreasing through the day. But rainfall totals on top of the, inch to inch and a half. Some folks almost picked up. We may throw another inch and a half onto that running total or higher, showing a near 2-inch total down into our southern counties. So we're going to get soaked again this weekend. And on the back end of that system, by Saturday into Sunday, below normal temperatures as well. So there will be an end of the weekend chill settling in. Doesn't last long. We'll bounce back next week, but you're going to know it, especially by Sunday. Clouds slowly break, but hang on east-southeast. So, yeah, where the clouds are thicker out east, the temperature won't respond as much. I'm hoping for mid to upper 60s, bluegrass western counties, it'll run cooler out east. Upper 40s, sprinkles, some showers develop, rising late, and then, yeah, on again, off again showers, some strong storms late Saturday, lingering showers Sunday, cooler. But we'll jump back 60s, even 70s next week before our next round of showers and storms hits toward the middle of the week.
All right, Tom, thank you. LEX 18 and our parent company Scripps want to help you navigate this difficult time as we try to get back to maybe a normal way of life. The Rebound Kentucky is all about giving you the resources you need to deal with the hardships brought on by the coronavirus pandemic. One Lexington restaurant is just a month away from finishing construction at its location at Lexington City Center, which sits nearly empty since the shutdowns began. LEX 18's Conroy Deluche gives us our first look inside.
While the world outside has slowed, work continues inside one of Lexington's upcoming restaurants.
It's a beautiful space, and we really are looking forward to inviting our guests into this space for the first time.
Unfortunately, TJ Cox and Jonathan Lundy don't know when that first time will be.
This is a whole new world that we'll be opening a new restaurant into. So we're really we have to be open-minded.
Through the uncertainty of what opening during a pandemic looks like, they are preparing and getting excited for their new restaurant opening up in City Center, Italics.
The manufacturing of the pasta, that's exciting me, and we'll have a special area for that.
Obviously social distancing, and guests will have some concerns about how closely tables are, how close they are to other guests and that sort of thing. So we'll be very privy to that and make sure that we're, again, abiding by all the rules and regulations that have been set out for us, but we also want to make sure that our guests feel safe and comfortable when they come in and join us for dinner.
Lundy says Italics will have 275 Italian wine bottles in their wine cave, and the restaurant will be an open-air concept Mediterranean bistro right in the heart of downtown Lexington.
We've had this on our brain for so long, and when that first plate hits the table, that's just going to give me all the feels, to use the parlance of our time. I just can't wait for that.
Construction at Italics should be finished in the next 30 days or so, but at that point, the question pivots to when will people be able to go inside and experience the restaurant? In Lexington, Conroy DeLuche, LEX 18 News.
Log on to our website. We have a dedicated page, lex18.com/rebound, for many more stories and links to help you get through these uncertain times. The website also has tons of helpful links to help get you back on your feet, including to Kentucky's unemployment site and drive-through testing information. Again, that website is lex18.com/rebound. We are finally at Friday, but that doesn't mean the questions have stopped coming in. Dia Davidson joins us now live from her home with a few questions that you have sent in. Hi, Dia.
Hey, Angie. Hey, everybody. We've been getting tons of questions, and here are just a few that are on your mind right now. Let's get right to it. First, we are moving into the 6th week of staying at home, and my kids are asking questions about COVID-19. Are there any good age-appropriate sites just for them? Well, this is a great question, and this is a tough subject even for adults to handle. Kids need to feel safe and get answers that they understand as well. So CNN tomorrow morning at 9, they're going to offer a broadcast geared towards kids of all ages to answer the COVID-19 questions on their minds. An NBC Nightly News Kids edition with Lester Holt kicked off this week, and on Tuesdays and Thursday afternoons, Lester Holt will bring in experts to talk to kids about coronavirus on the NBC YouTube channel and other digital platforms. Next question up for you. And this one has experts up in arms and is all over the internet. And it has to do with President Trump. The question, I heard President Trump talking about using injections of UV light and disinfectant during his briefing yesterday as a way to treat COVID-19. What's that all about? Okay, please, all of the manufacturers, everybody says don't do it at all. Doing either of these things will potentially kill you. Check the CDC page for approved treatment guidelines. That's cdc.gov. And the last one this afternoon, churches closed for all in-person services, including Easter. What about Ramadan? Well, remember, Governor Beshear asked for all houses of worship to refrain from in-person gatherings and services. So this would go for the Muslim observance of Ramadan in a mosque through the conclusion on Saturday evening, May 23rd. Please log on to kycovid19.ky.gov for more. That's all for me now. I'll be back here at 3 p.m. for my live Facebook chat on the LEX18 Facebook page. Angie, back to you.
Okay, Dia, good to see you. Thanks so much. Well, it might take longer than expected for doors to reopen at the happiest place on earth. What analysts are saying about Disney's future and what could happen even if the park opens sooner than expected. Welcome back to LEX18 News at noon. United Airlines will require all flight attendants to wear face masks, and Disney parks might be closed for the rest of the year. Jane King has those stories and more in today's business report.
The doors to Magic Kingdom may not reopen till next year due to strict social distancing measures. Disney, which shuttered Disneyland in California and Disney World in Florida on March 12th, will likely not be able to reopen until January 1st at the earliest. That's according to a UBS analyst. The analyst said even if Disney is able to open its doors early next year, the Mouse House will be impacted by health precautions that include social distancing, travel restrictions, and crowd aversion until there's a COVID-19 vaccine. Well, Southwest Airlines CEO says he is hoping employees may accept pay cuts instead of job losses. Also, Gary Kelly says Southwest could be drastically smaller and different airline if things don't improve by July. United, meanwhile, the flight attendants will have to wear face masks starting today. The labor union wants passengers to wear them as well. While few travelers are currently flying because of the virus and stay-at-home orders, airlines are rethinking precautions to stop the virus from spreading. Well, JCPenney may be close to filing for bankruptcy. The Wall Street Journal reports it is in discussion with banks about how they can stay open while in bankruptcy. JCPenney, like other retailers, has had to close stores due to the pandemic, and it was struggling even before it hit. From New York, I'm Jane King with your business update.
And let's take a look at how the stocks are doing at this noon hour. Right now, the Dow Jones is down about 22 points at 23,493. The Nasdaq up about 26.5 points at 8,521. And the S&P 500 is up just over 3 points, sitting at 2,800. More LEX 18 news is coming up after the break. You can follow along with the latest coronavirus coverage online at lex18.com or check out our free LEX18 News app. Here's what's coming up at 12:30.
Count on LEX 18 News.
An agreement has been reached in how the state's primary elections will be held following changes prompted by the novel coronavirus. Plus, more employees at a Henderson County plant have tested positive for the virus. And some businesses in Georgia are now open despite continued warnings. LEX 18 News at 12:30 starts now. Good Friday afternoon. I'm Angie Bedman. Thanks for joining us here at 12:30. Despite additional COVID-19 cases announced across the state, Governor Andy Beshear is reassuring Kentuckians that actions are saving lives. During the most recent briefing, the governor reported 161 newly confirmed coronavirus cases in the Commonwealth. As this graph shows you, the state's total amount of cases is edging towards 3,500. 1,335 of those Kentuckians have made a full recovery, while 302 others remain in the hospital. The governor announced 6 more deaths yesterday, which brings the statewide death toll to 191. Governor Beshear and Kentucky's Secretary of State have now reached an agreement on the upcoming primary elections. In March, it was announced that the primary election would be moved from May 19th to June 23rd due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Well, the new plan will allow Kentuckians who are registered to vote to do so by email or through an absentee ballot. Governor Beshear says the State Board of Elections will also be working on a plan to conduct limited in-person voting and some possible drive-through voting for voters who cannot vote by mail or email. Walgreens has begun drive-through testing today in Lexington on Executive Drive. It's only for healthcare providers, first responders, or people 18 or older with symptoms. You can sign up online before going to get tested. The service runs 7 days a week. And an update this afternoon out of Henderson County. That's where more employees at Tyson Foods plant have tested positive for COVID-19. Yesterday, we reported there were 53 employees. The Green River Health District now reports 62. Our NBC affiliate WFIE reports the Henderson County Judge Executive says the employees range from 5 different counties in the area. County leaders, will continue to closely monitor test results to get a better idea of how widespread the virus might be. The trial for a former Fleming County public school official accused of cheating the district out of thousands of dollars has been postponed because of COVID-19. That's according to the Maysville Ledger Independent. According to school officials, Gregory Conway stole more than $100,000 during his tenure as director of district-wide operations. Conway's trial was scheduled for April 27th. He resigned in June of 2019 and was arrested in November. He was charged with abuse of public trust and second-degree forgery. No word on when a new date for that trial will be set. Members of the U.S. House who met in Washington, D.C. yesterday, mostly all wearing masks. According to reports, only 2 of the dozens of members present were not wearing masks. Representative James Comer of Kentucky and Jim Jordan of Ohio. Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee, who was outside the hearing, was also reportedly not wearing a mask. He defended his position by saying, quote, "I didn't take a mask for somebody who needs it more," end quote. When healthcare workers hear a call for help, they usually answer it no matter where it's coming from. Several Kentucky certified registered nurse and anesthetists have proven that by spending the last few weeks working in New York City. LEX 18's Alex Valverde tells us about their experience.
For CRNA Samantha Heverin, the COVID-19 pandemic almost left her without work.
My organization answered, who is incredibly brilliant. They said, they're all ambulatory care centers across the U.S. and everything closed, so none of us had jobs.
But Heverin saw the need somewhere else, and she left Louisville and got to New York City almost a month ago. Right now, she and coworker Sally McAfee are working with the Mount Sinai Health System.
We're going to be intubating patients. We're going to be proning patients because somebody has to manage the airway when you put these patients on their bellies. And you don't want to lose that airway. So that's going to be our job. Emergency intubations is a big thing.
But those are just some of the many duties they and other Kentucky healthcare workers have in New York.
It's a war. And that's what it feels like.
And during this stressful time, they lean on each other.
I don't think I could make it without Samantha. Those shifts are just mentally,
physically exhausting. Yeah.
You just can't do enough. We rely on each other a lot. And
we do.
You know, we FaceTime my 3-year-old. He's super sweet. So obviously that helps.
The CRNAs hope to be back in Kentucky in a couple of weeks, trained and ready if the situation gets worse here.
If a pandemic really hit us hard in Louisville, Kentucky or Lexington, Kentucky, I could walk in and tell you, boom, 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 this is what we need to do and this is how we need to do it.
Doing what they can wherever the need takes them. Alex Valverde, LEX 18 News.
As the U.S. death toll from coronavirus reaches 50,000, states are allowing some businesses to now reopen. Georgia might be leading the way, but Vice President Pence says 16 states now have formal reopening plans. CNN's Martin Savage has the latest.
Georgia Governor Brian Kemp's plan to relax some social distancing efforts begins this morning. Owners of barbershops, hair and nail salons, bowling alleys, gyms, and massage parlors can reopen their stores. And next Monday, restaurants and theaters can do the same. Kemp defending his move to allow some sectors of his state to resume business, tweeting, "My team has worked closely with the Trump administration, and our decisions and direction are informed by data and public health recommendations." This, as President Trump tosses out unscientific ideas from the White House podium. Last night, raising the bizarre notion of using household cleaners as a possible treatment for coronavirus patients.
And then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
But health experts agree there is no scientific merit for that suggestion.
He also said it needs to be studied. Actually, it doesn't. I mean, we know the answer to this one. The idea that we would do a trial of some sort and inject some people with disinfectant and some people not and see what happens. I mean, as you point out, I think everybody would know that that would be dangerous and counterproductive and not at all moving us in the right direction.
Meantime, Illinois extending their stay-at-home orders through May 30th with an added requirement, wearing face coverings in public if a 6-foot distance can't be maintained.
We need to keep going a little while longer to finish the job.
California's governor asking residents pressing to end social distancing efforts to look at the facts.
We're not out of the woods yet. I know there's deep desire. People are making calls on an hourly basis saying it's time to open back up. Consider the deadliest day in the state of California within the last 24 hours, 8.5% increase in the total number of deaths.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says the U.S. needs to ramp up both the number and capacity to perform tests in order to safely reopen parts of the country.
I am not overly confident right now at all that we have what it takes to do that. We're getting better and better at it as the weeks go by, but we are not in a situation where we say we're exactly where we want to be with regard to testing.
But according to Trump,
no, I don't agree with him on that. No, I think we're doing a great job on testing. I don't agree. If he said that, I don't agree with him.
Yet, many state leaders say there is much work to be done.
The fact as a nation we weren't ready for this as a testing matter. We've cobbled together now up to 86 different sites, but we're still not there yet.
That was Martin Savage reporting. UK's Prime Minister might be out of the hospital, but there's no decision yet on when he will return to work. Boris Johnson tested positive for COVID-19 nearly a month ago. He was admitted into an intensive care unit for treatment and discharged from the hospital last Sunday. The UK Health Secretary says Johnson is doing well and will come back as soon as doctors recommend he can. NBC is airing a special Parks and Recreation reunion episode next week to raise money for Feeding America. More than 5 years after the series finale, the original cast plus several guest stars are coming together for a scripted 30-minute show. The episode finds Amy Poehler's character trying to connect with her friends during the coronavirus pandemic. The Parks and Recreation special will air on April 30th at 8:30 right here on LEX 18. With unemployment rates sky high, some people are struggling to provide a meal, but you can help, and here's how you can do that. Donate to God's Pantry Food Bank's Help Feed the Hungry project. Just log on to lex18.com/hope to support this cause. And in other news today, the U.S. Supreme Court won't review the case of the man who allegedly attacked Senator Rand Paul back in November of 2017. The High Court's denial this week does not constitute an opinion on the merits of the appeal by Rene Boucher, according to the Daily News. Boucher's attorneys argued a resentencing hearing violates his constitutional rights, entitling him to due process and protecting him against double jeopardy. Boucher reportedly tackled the Kentucky Republican over a lawn maintenance issue along their property line in Bowling Green, breaking 6 of Paul's ribs. Police in Bowling Green are looking for a woman they say was found hiding in a home of the city's mayor. WNKY reports Mayor Bruce Wilkerson says he heard some noises and smelled cigarettes. When he went down to investigate, he found the woman hiding in a crawl space covered in dirt. Now, she told Wilkerson that someone was after her. The mayor called police, but the woman ran off. She is described as being in her 20s with long brown hair. Police are asking anyone with information to give them a call. Another round of rain, and it looks like more is in store. Meteorologist Tom Ackerman joins us next with your storm tracker forecast.
Well, we've been absolutely soaked over the last 24 hours, so even with cloud cover hanging in, at least the rain has backed off. And I do think we will see some breaks in those clouds as we go through the course of the afternoon. It just may be a slow go of it getting there. Still cloudy here in Lexington and, of course, across much of the viewing area. But if we look at visible satellite imagery, Paducah, western Kentucky, reporting partly sunny skies. So it is